Remember the day I got the winning call? I'd entered a few competitions over the last few years and was pretty good at winning them, so I wasn't too surprised. However, disbelieving Thomas, my dad, didn't quite share the same confidence. He goldered up the stairs. "Donna, you'd better come down. Someone's on the phone, says you've won a competition." Ha, imagine that. Must be a wrong number. I bounded down the stairs, grabbed the phone off him and shoot him into the living room. "Don't be long," he said. "I need to use the phone." "Hello, Donna speaking." "Hello, Donna. Joe Duffy here from RTE. You entered our competition." "Yeah, that's right. I just need to run a few questions past you, Donna. Is that all right?" I struggled to remember anything about the competition. My mind raced. What if I said the wrong thing? "No, sorry, I don't have a full passport, just a visitor's passport." "But you said you had one," Joe Duffy continued. Sorry, I'd obviously told a white lie. More questions? "Yes, I speak French, but please God, don't ask me to now, as I haven't spoken a word since third year. And yes, I am a current student, albeit an Enterprise Ulster trainee student, not an actual university student." "Get off the bloody phone," shouts my dad. Jesus, that man's going to ruin it for me. I covered the mouthpiece and stuck my head around the living room door and mouthed, "Shh, yeah. I can't get off the flipping phone. It's only Joe Duffy from RTE telling me I've won a competition. You're going to ruin this." "Aye, Joe Duffy, my arse," says he. "Get off the phone now." I could have killed him. For a moment, I forgot Joe Duffy was hanging on the other end of the gnarled telephone cable. He probably heard it all. "Is everything all right, Donna?" he asked. "I have a few more questions for you." "Hi, yeah, sorry about that. It's just my dad. He's called Joe too. He's just looking to use the phone." Within minutes, he told me I'd passed the verification process and would soon be travelling to Europe on a trip of a lifetime with 127 students from all over Europe. I had 2 weeks to tell my employer. Flip. I was told to get the train to Dublin that Friday, pick up my new passport from the passport office. I know, I'd been meeting the Taoiseach at the Dáil for a press photo along with the rest of the Irish contingent. There were 4 of us all together. I was the token northerner. Right. "Okay, Mr. Duffy, that's fantastic news. Thank you very much," says I. My stomach was doing backward flips. I was thinking, what the hell have I got myself into? Doubting Thomas. Only believed Dad won the competition when he put me on the train to Dublin and saw my photo splashed across the newspapers a few days later. In Dublin, Joe Duffy explained that we would do a live link up to the Gay Burn radio show every day. Wonderful. I looked over at red-haired Vanessa O'Gorman from Ballymun, and I knew this trip was going to be a gas. "Love it," said I. For the majority of participants, their journey to peace started in Brussels, where we all descended on for the first leg of the trip on the Enterprise for Peace train. But my journey started 6 years previously, when I travelled to Oslo with the Peace People of Northern Ireland. My older sister and I entered and won the competition. I told you I was good at winning competitions, didn't I? The Peace People's Youth for Peace wing was set up to promote integrated education in Northern Ireland and to bring Catholics and Protestants together in neutral environments such as peace camps at home and abroad. That trip had a huge impact on me, and on my return, I got involved with 2 leading youth groups in the north, Youth Action and YouthNet. I became a young adult rep on their committee. I got involved in organising cross-community conferences for young people, for young adults. I even took part in a Channel 4 programme about the Peace People. I still wasn't safe to talk openly about the Troubles, let alone talk about them on national television. So I rang the producers the next day and told them to dub my voice or black me out. I honestly didn't know what they had cut out when the people standing at the bus stop waiting for the bus home the next day told me I was great. I did really well. By 1990, I was still in contact with the community of Peace People as they were then known, doing what I could to support them in their fundraising initiatives. I'd found my voice and the confidence I needed to enable me to participate in a European trip worthy of international media attention. 1990 was designated the European Year of Tourism. Europeans could now travel through borderless East and West territories with almost perfect ease. On the peace train, we carried blue and white coloured flags with the motto, one train, one youth, one Europe, one future. We even had a record cut for the occasion and had to sing it as was disembarked from the peace train in each new city. Our days and sometimes nights were filled with lively debates and group discussions on and off the train, in colleges and universities, among the media and with politicians. The main focus of the trip was not the free drink on the train, but sharing our ideologies of a better world, a shared future. We engaged in many cultural festivities and traditions too. Highlights for me included the National Concert in Botanic Gardens in Warsaw and dancing in a secret underground disco there, and then going back to the train decked with 70% proof Polish vodka. Never again. In Prague, we marched with thousands of people who had descended on the city to celebrate the first May Day parade since the end of communism in 1989. There was an air of jubilation in the streets, lined with tea lights and photos of family and dead comrades. The rich cities of Vienna, Milan, and Budapest, with its river Danube lit up at night, contrasted with the relics of the old communist states that still showed obvious signs of poverty and destruction. Passing through Checkpoint Charlie and onto the Berlin Wall made me think of home. Our checkpoints, numerous security gates, and the so-called peace walls that were anything but. Here the walls were being torn down by generations of people who fought for their freedom. Back home, our wee country remained divided. It seemed unfair that the ripples of peace unfurling in Europe wouldn't make it back to my home place. I felt alone at that point and found myself crying along with the Berliners, but for different reasons. My own personal experiences give me an insight into the tension I felt in these and other cities, such as Zagreb, which I could almost taste in the air. Something was amiss. I witnessed fear and uncertainty in people's eyes. I stared into them, wanting to ask questions, but I was frozen with flashbacks to the soldiers walking the streets of Belfast. To escape the doom, my Irish friend Vanessa and I took ourselves off to a frizz-a-risky salon where the Croatian ladies set to work on us. We got sheep dipped in turn, me laughing at her before I was drowned in the laughter of the women looking on and seeing the horror on each of our faces as we were plucked and preened to within an inch of our lives. We looked like something out of a 1950s B-movie by the time they'd finished with us. I wondered what Vanessa's admirer, student Mario from Malta, would think of her new look. Guy Byrne loved our daily tales, and when he got wind of a rumour that I had been romantically involved with a young radio student from Zagreb, he made a very big deal of it on national radio. He even brought my dad on air to cajole and slag him about Roberto and his family coming to live in Belfast with us. The adorable Roberto, with his soft brown Omar Sharif eyes, was none the wiser. Our language of love was more of a silent movie, as neither of us could speak any one shared language. At that time, and despite the troubles back home, I felt relieved to be part of Western Europe. There were some students that didn't want to return home after their trip. They were cautious and overwhelmed by their newfound freedom, and the transition into peaceful times would be slow. I kept in touch with many of them, including the charming Vanessa O'Gorman and the handsome Roberto through translated letters. Vanessa would send postcards from the many destinations she visited or from somewhere she briefly settled in. She once sent a postcard from Malta where she had gone to see her wonderful Mario. Roberto and I managed to exchange translated letters up until the outbreak of the Yugoslav Civil War in 1991, almost 1 year after the trip, when all of a sudden our correspondences ceased.
That's a very sad ending, actually, to a wonderful story.
I know.
Yeah,
it still gets me.
Yeah, I hope everything worked out for him.
Yeah, me too.
What about Vanessa? Have you heard at all from her?
I've
recently?
tried to find her in the last few years, Paul, and I can't track her down at all, but we did stay in touch for a good 5 to 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
After.
Just so you know, go you check in the messenger there, but Jacqueline Gale put in how she loves hearing the word golder used in a story. And
Brilliant.
look, now you have to give us a very short, tell us the story behind this where you made headlines, please.
Well, as I said, you were supposed to be a student, but I was a student. I was working as a trainee student in a school, and under Enterprise Ulster, which was a trainee scheme. And I had to tell my employer, which was a nun from the local school. And I told her that I was leaving to go on this wonderful trip. She said, all right, well, you can't come back. You can't expect your job to be here when you come back. So my dad got on the phone to the local newspaper and give them the whole story. And the nun still didn't shift. And I said, that's so unchristian of you. I'm just a wee student from Belfast and I'm going on this trip of a lifetime, la la la. And that was the end of that traineeship. But my God, I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
I think if we've learned anything in 10 by 9 over the years is that you don't mess with nuns.
No. Or Donna.
Or Donna. That's true. Donna, it's wonderful to see you and to hear from you again. Don't leave it so long, please.
No. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.